Imagine a battlefield. On one side, 3,000 medieval warriors, knights in shining armor, longbowmen with deadly aim, infantry armed with swords, spears and shields, an army that once conquered kingdoms. On the other side, just 100 men. But these aren't ordinary men. These are United States Marines, equipped with modern rifles, body armor, communications, and a century of tactical evolution. It sounds like an unfair fight, doesn't it? The title of this video suggests exactly that. But maybe not in the way you think, because today you're about to discover how 100 Marines would absolutely annihilate a medieval army 30 times their size. Welcome to What If War. Let's rewrite the rules of warfare. First, let's meet our combatants, the medieval army, 3,000 strong. These aren't peasants with pitchforks, these are trained warriors. At the front, heavy cavalry, knights encased in steel plate armor, riding war horses bred for war. Each one is a walking tank, capable of smashing through infantry lines. Behind them, the archers. Maybe 500 longbowmen. In their era, these men were the apex of ranged warfare. A skilled archer could put an arrow through a man at 200 yards. And finally, the infantry. Swordsmen, spearmen, men-at-arms. Disciplined, battle-hardened. They fight in formation, shields locked, moving as one massive, crushing wave. Their strength is in numbers, shock tactics, and sheer brutal force. They've won wars, conquered castles, crushed rebellions. They are a medieval superpower. Now the Marines, 100 of them. They're not superheroes. They don't have tanks or air support in this scenario. What they do have is training, modern weapons, and a technological advantage so vast it might as well be magic. Each Marine carries an M4 carbine, 30-round magazine, rate of fire, 700 rounds per minute, effective range, 500 meters with pinpoint accuracy. They wear plate carriers, body armor that can stop medieval arrows like they're thrown pebbles. They have grenades, smoke, fragmentation, flashbangs. They carry radios, meaning instant communication across the entire unit. No horns, no runners, instant. And maybe, just maybe, they have a few squad automatic weapons, M249s, belt-fed, 800 rounds per minute. If the medieval army is a hammer, the Marines are a surgical scalpel, precise, lethal, unstoppable. So why is this fight no chance for the medieval army? Let's break it down. First, firepower. This is the most obvious and most devastating difference. A longbowman can fire maybe 10 arrows per minute, and that's if he's fast. A Marine with an M4, he can fire 30 aimed shots in under 10 seconds. Now multiply that by 100. That's 3,000 rounds in 10 seconds. The entire medieval army could be suppressed by sheer volume of fire before they even close to melee range. But it's not just volume. It's lethality. An arrow, even from a powerful longbow, has maybe 80 joules of energy. A 5.5 6-minute round from an M4? Over 1,700 joules. It's traveling at 3 times the speed of sound. It doesn't just pierce armor, it shatters it. A knight's plate armor, designed to deflect swords and arrows, is useless. A single bullet punches through, tumbles, and causes catastrophic internal damage. One shot, one kill. Second, range and precision. Medieval archers are effective up to maybe 300 yards, and that's generous. Beyond 100 yards, accuracy drops dramatically. The Marines, they can engage targets at 500 meters with iron sights. With optics, even further. And every shot is accurate. They don't need to volley and hope. They aim. They squeeze. The target drops. This means the Marines can start killing at a range where the medieval army can't even fight back. Imagine being a knight, riding forward with your sword raised, and men start falling around you. No arrows. No visible enemy. Just your brothers in arms collapsing from their horses, blood spraying. You don't even know where the attack is coming from. That's what modern warfare does. It kills you before you even know you're in danger. Third, armor and defense. Medieval armor is impressive. A full suit of plate can weigh 60 pounds. It's designed to stop swords, axes, maces, and arrows, and it works. Against medieval weapons. But against a rifle? It's paper. A 5.56mm round traveling at 3,000 feet per second doesn't care about your steel breastplate. It punches through, fragments, and shreds everything inside. Meanwhile, the Marines are wearing modern plate carriers, level 4 ballistic plates, designed to stop rifle rounds. A medieval arrow. It bounces off. Even a direct hit from a longbow, which could punch through chainmail, does nothing to modern Kevlar and ceramic. The Marines are effectively invulnerable to 90% of the medieval army's weapons. A sword slash, stopped by the armor. An arrow, deflected. The only real threat is if a knight somehow closes to melee range and gets a lucky thrust through a gap. But we'll get to why that never happens. Fourth, communication and tactics. This is where the gap becomes a chasm. Medieval armies communicate with horns, drums, flags, and shouted orders. It's slow, confusing. In the chaos of battle, commands get lost, units get separated. But the Marines, they have encrypted radios. The squad leader can talk to every Marine instantly. Change tactics on the fly, call for concentrated fire, coordinate flanking maneuvers. It's like playing chess against someone who has to send letters to their pieces. The Marines can react, adapt, and outmaneuver in real time. The medieval commander is shouting orders that take minutes to relay. The Marine lieutenant whispers into his mic, and the entire formation shifts in seconds. It's not even a fair comparison. And fifth, logistics and reload speed. A longbowman carries maybe 30 arrows. Once he's out, he's done. He's now just an unarmed man in a war zone. A Marine carries 7 magazines, 210 rounds, and he can reload in under 3 seconds. If the battle lasts longer, he has more ammo in his pack. And if they've set up a defensive position, they might have cases of ammunition, thousands of rounds. They can sustain fire for hours. The medieval army runs out of arrows in 5 minutes. The Marines run out of ammo, eventually. But by then, there's no one left to shoot. Now let's simulate this battle. Let's play it out step by step and see exactly how this massacre unfolds. The Marines choose their ground carefully. They're not idiots. They're not going to fight in an open field where cavalry can charge them from all sides. They find a hillside, elevated position, open field of fire in front, maybe some trees or rocks for cover. They dig in, not trenches, they don't have time, but hasty fighting positions. Prone positions behind cover, overlapping fields of fire. The medieval army approaches. They're confident. They outnumber the enemy 30 to 1. They've never lost a battle with those odds. They form up. Cavalry on the flanks, archers in the center rear, infantry in the middle. The commander orders the advance. The army moves forward, shields up, lances ready. The archers loose their first volley. 300 arrows arc through the sky. It's a beautiful, terrifying sight. The Marines don't even flinch. The arrows fall. Some hit the dirt, some bounce off armor. One Marine gets hit in the shoulder. The arrow doesn't penetrate. He doesn't even slow down. And then the Marines open fire. The sound is apocalyptic. 100 rifles firing in coordinated volleys. The crack of gunfire echoes across the valley. The medieval soldiers have never heard anything like it. It's louder than thunder, faster than they can process. And men start dropping. The archers are the first to go. They're standing in formation, exposed, and they're priority targets. Marines don't spray and pray. They aim, one archer, one bullet he drops, next target another drops. In 30 seconds, half the archers are dead or wounded. The rest break. They run. They've never experienced this kind of slaughter. The cavalry charges. This is their moment. Close the distance, trample the enemy. But they're charging uphill, across 300 meters of open ground. The Marines switch targets, horses first. A horse is a bigger target than a man, and if the horse goes down, the knight goes down. The M249 gunners open up, belt-fed machine guns pouring fire into the charging cavalry. Horses scream and collapse. Knights are thrown, crushed under their own mounts. Some keep coming. Their courage is incredible, suicidal, but incredible. At 200 meters, the Marines throw grenades. Fragmentation grenades arc through the air and explode in the middle of the charge. Shrapnel rips through men and horses alike. The charge falters. At 100 meters, the Marines are firing as fast as they can pull the trigger. The cavalry is decimated. Maybe 10 knights make it within 50 meters. They're exhausted. Their horses are dying. And the Marines fix bayonets. Not because they'll need them, but because it's protocol. The last few knights reach the Marine line. They swing their swords. A Marine sidesteps, fires point blank. The knight goes down. Another Marine blocks with his rifle, then shoots. It's over in seconds. Meanwhile, the infantry is in chaos. They watch their cavalry. The pride of the army gets slaughtered in less than 5 minutes. They watch their archers flee. And now they're supposed to charge uphill into that wall of fire. Some refuse. Some run. The braver ones, the professionals. They advance. Shields up, tight formation. The Marines reload and fire. The front rank of the infantry collapses. Then the second, then the third. The formation breaks. Men scatter. The battle is over. Total elapsed time. Maybe 15 minutes. Medieval casualties? Over 2,000 dead or wounded. Marine casualties? Maybe 2 wounded. None killed. The medieval army doesn't just lose. It's annihilated, erased, broken so completely that survivors will have nightmares for the rest of their lives. And here's the thing, this isn't a fantasy. This is what the gap between medieval and modern warfare actually looks like. It's not about courage. Medieval warriors were brave. It's not about skill. They were trained. It's about technology. A modern rifle is to a medieval sword what a sword was to a stone club. It's an evolutionary leap so vast that no amount of numbers can overcome it. 100 Marines with modern weapons could hold off 10 times this many medieval soldiers. Maybe more, because the medieval army has no answer. They can't outrange the rifles. They can't penetrate the armor. They can't communicate fast enough. They can't adapt. They're fighting a war they don't understand against weapons they can't comprehend. But let's ask a harder question. Is there any scenario where the medieval army wins? Maybe. If they ambush the Marines at night. If they vastly outnumber them, say 10,000 to 100, and attack from all sides simultaneously. If they use terrain to their advantage, force close combat in a forest where rifles are less effective. If they somehow get inside the Marine perimeter before the shooting starts, then maybe they have a chance. But it requires perfect conditions, surprise, overwhelming numbers. And even then, the Marines would inflict horrific casualties before going down, because that's what they're trained to do: fight, adapt, survive. A cornered Marine is the most dangerous thing on any battlefield, medieval or modern. So what's the lesson here? What does this thought experiment teach us? It shows us just how much warfare has changed. Medieval battles were about formations, morale, and melee combat. Modern warfare is about firepower, range, and technology. The gap is so enormous that it's almost incomprehensible. A single Marine, properly equipped, has more killing power than an entire medieval battalion. That's not an exaggeration. That's math. And it should make us think about our own era, because somewhere right now there might be a weapon being developed that would make our modern rifles look like medieval swords. Technology doesn't stop, and the next evolution in warfare might be just as devastating to us as we would be to a medieval army. So what do you think? Could a medieval army ever win this fight? Is there a tactic, a strategy, a terrain advantage that could overcome the technology gap? Or are we just watching a massacre, no matter how we set it up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into hypothetical warfare, hit that subscribe button. Next week, we're asking an even crazier question. What if a Roman legion fought a Viking horde? Ancient versus ancient. No modern weapons. Just skill, strategy, and steel. You won't want to miss it. This has been What If War, where imagination meets firepower and history gets rewritten one bullet at a time. Stay curious, stay tactical, and remember, in war, technology isn't everything, but it's pretty damn close.